Respawn has finally said something about the new ranked changes they implemented in Season 17. I took the day to read and understand their blog post, and I'm here to break it down. My name is Flame078, the normal gamer, breaking down Apex from the average perspective. So what the hell is going to happen next season in ranked? Let's get to it. Okay, so Respawn started with explaining what were some of the data points they saw in Season 17. They mentioned a combination of players adapting to the new changes, though I use that term very loosely, and actual bugs in the system made it so that the latter points achieved was way higher than intended, which is interesting considering a bulk of the points you get are from placement. Like, this comment seems very silly to me. Are they changing that at all? But okay, they want to lower the LP awarded next season, so I guess that's a good direction. They next talk about the bonuses and pretty much how because the LP distributions were so generous, people started getting capped on the bonus way too early. So you know when I talked about earlier in short form how most likely if you weren't getting the bonuses, it was due to the system actually working as intended? Well, I was right. But the culprit here is that a player's MMR and rank, if that difference got really big, then that's why you got no points. AKA, if you had gold MMR but were in plat rank, means you got less bonus. As a reminder, the rank you have and the MMR are not tied, and the MMR is more important when it comes to creating lobbies. So for most players, their MMR needed to go higher to get said bonuses, which can only be done by fighting more. Because if you perform well with players of like say higher MMR, then your MMR would go up. Which is kind of funny then, considering people were mad that they got no bonuses, so they were like, fuck that, I'm going to rat. But by doing that, they would cause the issue more because the only way to get bonuses was to fight in order to increase your MMR. So yeah, the bad thing about not knowing what the fuck the system does, it does create a lot of room for players to behave stupidly. Respawn is going to fix this by adding an elim bonus minimum that will never get withheld. All that said leads them to talk about the rank distribution and why so many players got masters. But what is interesting is that now they are going to make Diamond Plus lobbies have a higher cost and decrease the bonuses in order to slow down the progress to master. The intent is to slow the average player in getting to masters, theoretically. Okay, so overall, Respawn has said that the LP that was given out was too free and that they were going to change that, plus now make diamond lobbies and higher have a slower climb. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm confused on why the LP was so generous. Are they referring to the placement points? How is that a bug? A good chunk of LP came from placement, so are they toning that down? I don't recall my bonuses ever being that crazy. If anything, it was likely 50-50. Let me know down below what you think, but I don't recall bonus LP being that much more than placement. So that begs the question, are we moving in the right direction? The next thing that Respawn covers is the nature of the match itself, and talking about what they wanted to achieve, which was a chaotic endgame and for more players to play the survivor aspect of Battle Royale. One metric out of many that they were looking at was how many players were alive at the 15-minute mark, which matches that go to Final Ring are about 20 or so minutes, so 15 minutes is a good chunk way into endgame, and that means there was a ton of people still alive at that point, and they were happy with that. They wanted this to be the outcome, and they want this to be the norm as you progress in rank. Another thing they looked at was the whole ratting situation. Like myself, they do not mind that players are taking it slow and waiting to fight, which is good, but they saw, like we all experienced, an influx of ratting. This graph shows time spent crouching and just being idle. They don't want that. Avoiding fights and waiting for fights are two different things. Their approach here is to make ring adjustments, so the time it takes to close, and I'm assuming increasing the damage, on top of fixing various discovered rat spots. Hopefully no more hiding in trees. So if Respawn loves the fact that players are going to the end game and living longer, the way they want to solve ratting is by making ring adjustments and fix some rat spots. However, I personally question this move. In Season 14, they did adjustments to the ring and quickly reverted that. So what exactly are they going to do here? They want more mid-game fights. Is this really the way to do it? I think I saw on Twitter that Inversing the closing time and wait time between rings might be a better move. I still side with crafters should not work after a ring closes, but that's just me. Fixing the mid game by doing this seems like a stretch. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, this next section is really juicy and a lot of information, so if you've been enjoying my breakdown and my thoughts, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button because I release daily shorts and weekly videos on all things Apex and all things gaming. So I would very much appreciate that. Much love. Okay, so now the biggest thing of all was matchmaking this season. Though, I mean, every season has been really bad, and it's been like this since season 13, I think. Though it does feel weirder now because the rank badge and the MMR, since they are different, we can't trust that the rank will tell us if the player is appropriately skilled. As we saw, those disparities got really big this season. They opened by covering something they did not mention in the original blog post for Season 17 rank. They said that they switched to rank-based matchmaking if the rank was way higher than the MMR. Bro, what? Let's sit on that real quick. This seemed to be coded like an edge case thing, the way they made this sound. Because their explanation is due to us giving away mad ladder points, it was more common to see the disparity between the rank and MMR. The issue, as the players have experienced, means players are in lobbies they really should not be in at all. And moving forward, they are trying to tighten the matchmaking to ensure the appropriate MMR balance is achieved. Bro, that is a huge freaking deal. I don't understand why that was not mentioned originally in the blog post, but I guess it makes sense since they wanted this to be an edge case and not the norm. There was no reason to communicate that. But that explains so much to what we were experiencing this season. So different sets of players got different matchmaking rules based on this one thing. That's insane. Next, they moved on to talk about the match quality, and one metric they highlighted was the fact that more players were kind of overall doing more damage. This was because there was more poking around, more sniping at each other, and then a lot of chances and availability to reset from fights. And at the start of the season, it was a good thing, and you see that it was rising, but then around May 18th, they started to see a decline, and that's because at that point, everyone was inflated with ladder points, so matches started becoming more unfair. And unfair meaning most likely one or few squads were just ripping apart the lobby, denying most players a chance to do damage. From there, they talk a lot about queue times, and they do not like that the times are way too short. Well, that kind of makes sense. I even covered that many times, that short queue times leads to a higher chance of shitty lobbies, because it is always a race to have the right kind of balance. Do I wait too long? What's exactly the cutoff? I mean, look at the chart. The fact that Master Plus lobbies can be generated on average in less than 35 seconds is fucking wild and really bad. Here they say there was a bug in this system that really affected the high-end lobbies. So in Season 18, they hope for it to be much better. This is an exclusive high-skilled player problem, as they mentioned that the MMR differences are pretty consistent in lower elo matches, and that the matchmaker is working as intended for those ranks. Though they do want to make it a bit stricter, instead of saying the whole rank, they're going to be bringing that down to say division differences, and they think they can accomplish this without affecting the queue times too much. So matchmaking was scuds for high level players, so mostly Diamond Plus players, and there was a bug that they found that attributed to pretty much that those players were having the shittiest matchmaking. On the flip side, they are very happy with how the lower elo matchmaking was going, and they just want to tighten that up more. Queue times are a goal of theirs to make it a bit longer to avoid unfair matches. Seems good and all, but what is the balance? How much time are you willing to wait for a match at a master level? And how willing are you to deal with conditions of low population depending on when or where you're playing? This sounds very familiar, and we've been on this road many times. So the question must be asked, are we confident in these changes? Again, let me know down below. So all in all, the biggest takeaway from this blog post is they are decreasing ladder points achieved from matches, they are making Diamond Plus lobbies have a higher entry cost and less bonus opportunity, they are adding a minimum elimination bonus based on MMR and buffing these bonuses in general. They want eliminations to help you in your grind. They are adjusting ring timing and damage to help encourage mid-game fighting, and they are going to tighten up matchmaking and now resolve the issue for high-level players, which in turn is going to make the queues a bit longer for everyone. They do have an AMA coming tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. But I think that we have to come to terms. This is ranked. Be butthurt all you want, but they want more teams at the end of the match. They want you to play similar to ALGS, period. So grow up and deal with it. I mean, I personally love that because that does align with what competitive battle royale is, but I am scared that there is not enough to incentivize fighting early or throughout. And I think we need to have flexibility in how we approach ranked to make it enjoyable for everyone. I want ranked to mean something. I am nervous this may not help enough. With that being said, what I personally think of all this, a 20-minute ALGS style match for most normal players is a high risk ask for the pathetic incentives there is. Across the board, all of this is meaningless if the end reward is garbage. This does nothing to address why people should grind to Pred. There's no distinction from Master to Pred at all. People are playing for the sake of competition. It's not going to be enough as a long-term incentive in my opinion, for most people. The ladder point system still makes little sense. Unless my experience was an outlier, my bonus and placement ladder points that I got for each match was pretty much 50-50 with bonus always kind of being slightly higher. So if they're decreasing gains, where are they taking that away from? I don't see reducing that solving much. Player attitude is what needs fixing the most. We need to stop taking things to the extreme because Respawn will never win in that regard. My name is Flame078. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me. Let us continue the conversation down below. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing. Stay tuned. I have more ranked thoughts on the way. And a big question I'm asking myself, Season 13 ranked or now? Which is better? Until next time, adios.